Hello and welcome back to another episode of J-Pod, Jefferson School District's very own podcast. I'm your host, Superintendent Brad Capener, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Chris Shaw and Becca Mallory. Good morning, guys. How are you today?
Good morning. What a interesting, beautiful morning it is. I'm enjoying the rain.
Yeah, well, the fall. I mean, it's been a really beautiful fall.
It has. It has.
It's like I enjoy the sunshine, but sometimes the rainy days are kind of nice.
They are.
My daughter this morning was like, "It's raining, it's wet outside, turn it off." And I was like, "We're in Oregon, honey. You better get used to it."
Turn it off. I was in Arizona the other day, and not too long ago, and it was 102 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
And this was in the evening, and the friend that I was cooking dinner with, he says, well, now we can finally eat outside because it's getting cool enough that we can be outside. And I was like, cool, it's 102 degrees. And he's like, yeah, well, it's normally like 110, you know. So then I had a lot of appreciation for coming home. And when we flew home, they said, it's cloudy and overcast and 50 something. I was like, good, this is what we need. So
like
I guess
normal weather again.
Yeah, I'm an Oregonian for sure. Okay, well, our podcast is designed to strengthen the connection between our community and our schools. And we talk about events coming up, or we describe programs so that you're aware of how they function and how our school district is serving our students. And we interview students and teachers regarding various topics. And today, really happy to be at the high school talking with our principal, Laura Pierce Cummings, and two students, Dulce Flores and Campbell Williams. Good morning, everybody.
Welcome.
How are you? Welcome.
I love these podcasts when we get to interview students. I feel like it really strengthens what we're doing out here with our building connections.
Always great to get the student input and voice in these programs for sure. So before we get started in our conversation, because we are talking about the Willamette Carrer Academy today, and that is a program that's not here at this school. It's actually at another location. And so we're going to talk about that in just a minute and find out all about Dulce and Campbell's experiences. But before that, just to let everybody know some of the background, the Willamette Carrer Academy, or the WCA as we call it, is a career and technical education school supported by multiple school districts in the Willamette Valley. Their mission is to connect education, industry, and community through classroom and work-based experiences. And their vision is to inspire and help students attain a high skill, high wage careers in the fields of cosmetology or health services, diesel mechanics, IT, computer science, manufacturing, and construction technology. The school is 3 years old now? 2? I think it's 3. And time flies fast. And Jefferson School District was a founding member of the Willamette Carrer Academy. We were involved in the creation of the idea. We went to visit other schools in other states and around the state of Oregon to get ideas for how to create it. And it is so, rewarding, I guess would be one of the words that I would use for me from somebody who's saw it as just an idea.
Yeah.
To now we have our students there. And so I'm really excited about today's podcast because we're actually hearing about how this school is functioning and serving our students here in Jefferson. So anyway, let's get into it. So first, Laura, with you, our principal, can you just kind of describe a little bit about the last couple of years, like how do we have good participation in kind of, generally sense, like how many students do we send?
Yes, we do have good participation. We have students both in year 1 and year 2 of the program.
Okay.
We have up to 18 slots in each of those different areas. And right now we have 15 students. Health services and cosmetology seem to be the most popular for our school. Okay. However, we do have students in diesel, manufacturing, IT, and we're getting a good response from those programs as well.
That's really great because when we talk about a career academy like this and CTE, every school offers their own CTE classes, but sometimes schools are limited, especially in small school districts like ourselves. We can't offer diesel mechanics. I mean, it's really expensive to put that kind of a program together.
Yeah.
And so this is in a way that we can reach out and get our kids exposed to career and technical education that we wouldn't necessarily be able to provide here in Jefferson. And it allows them to also make those connections with industry, so if we have a metal shop or a wood shop here, we're not necessarily connecting with industry. We are helping them with a skill, here in some way. But the Willamette Carrer Academy really helps us take it to the next level.
And I love that we're building the bridge between school and real world.
Yeah.
So we're really introducing that real world skill, the things that they will take with them to become adults, which is ultimately what we're trying to do in high school in general. So to have this ability is really great to say, hey, now you have the skills to start getting a job.
I always found it really useful in college when I actually had someone teaching the class who actually worked in the area he was teaching.
Yeah.
And so you felt like not only is he passing on this information, but he's giving you practical knowledge that you will then get to use later on.
Yeah, that's a really good point, right? And I think that's a real asset because, it's really hard to find teachers that really understand from the industry and keeping them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's very difficult for small school districts. And so there are multiple school districts around the Willamette Valley that are participating in this, sending their kids. So now let's get into it. Let's talk about how this is actually, we've teed it up. We've talked about what a great idea this is and a great program. Well, let's find out from our students a little bit about what they're doing and why they're excited about it. So Dulce, let's start with you. You are doing what program?
I'm doing IT, computer science.
IT computer science. And what year are you?
I'm a first year.
Okay. So how's it going? And do you go like once a week or do you go every day? What's this look like for you?
I go every day, except if we don't have a school day here. Recently I found out that Friday and Thursday we don't have school at Willamette, and so I would be attending just here for those 2 days.
Gotcha. Okay. And so what does the day look like? Like you get there, do you drive yourself or is there a bus that takes you?
The bus takes me, and it's lunchtime around that time, so we get to eat.
Oh, good. So you could eat there.
The school, Jefferson, provides lunch for us.
Yes, we do. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Good. But do they have a cafeteria there?
They do, and there's restaurants around that area, and they're allowing us to go.
Oh, nice.
And they can take the privilege to go out and eat, but they're allowing us. So it's really nice to go out.
And Dulce, you're a junior?
Yeah, I'm just a junior.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
So good. So this is your first year. So next year you'll be a senior. You'll do it as well. And so with IT program, what does that mean? Like, I understand that's like a computer field, right? Computer science. So are you specializing in any specific area?
Right now, we're just first years are juggling where they want to be in the IT area, computer science area. There's digital art, programming, creating games, doing some type of robots. Right now, we're just going through all the categories and seeing what we like.
Oh, good. So which one have you found one you like?
I really am enjoying coding.
Oh, yeah.
Coding is honestly really
I know,
fun.
she's talking our language.
Right?
I loved coding, and it's one of those things I really enjoy because it allowed you, despite being kind of in the strict structure of IT world, you get to have some creativity, you get to be creating something new and developing something, and so I always found coding very enjoyable.
So speaking of that, have you created anything
At
with
the moment, we're not really.
You're just kind of learning the basics?
We're learning how
Yeah.
the language.
I love hearing that that the students are getting exposed to multiple sections within that subject, because that really is like, this is where you really start to find your passion. And the earlier you find your passion and like what you want to do with your life, the less time you waste going through the, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up phase. And so
It's really true. And, so let's take construction, for example. I always thought construction just was like building houses.
Right.
But there's actually lots
So
of
much more,
There's
yeah.
lots of careers within construction.
Yeah.
And my eyes were opened through a school like this because they talk about all the the architecture and the software and
The electrician and
all
yeah,
those
all
pieces,
the
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay, so what? So you're really enjoying the
Coding.
experience?
Yep.
Yeah, good. All right, well, let's come over here and talk to Campbell for a minute. So Campbell, you are in year 2.
Yeah.
So now you're beyond just the first initial like learning about the different programs. You're actually more specializing now, I guess.
Yeah. So in manufacturing, when you start off in the first year, much like IT, you're introduced to a lot of different categories. So last year, I learned about residential wiring. I learned about how to operate a CNC machine. I learned how to 3D print. I learned basics in welding, a lot of machine shop safety.
Wow.
We did a lot of tours to different places like OSU, Chemeketa. I got introduced to like engineering as a subject or just the different trades that we can go into as well.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take it. I could use some of that electrical work. I need some support with that.
That's where my husband is successful in his electrical work. So yeah, and there's so much you can do within that, like not just construction in general, but like, for example, my husband's looking into home inspection, pays a great amount of money depending on how much you want to work, but it's all about knowledge of everything that goes on within construction and electricity and all that. So it's great skills to have.
So this year 2, are you kind of honing in a certain area?
So yeah, I'm honing in more. So how manufacturing works is we start the year with safety, and then we go into a program called Amatrol, which they work with industry partners to figure out what needs to be taught. So we start with just the basics of things, so like gear drives, belt drives, basic wiring, how to read a circuit, how to make basic blueprints, that sort of thing. And then the second year, we get to use Amatrol and we get to kind of pick our programs, like which ones we're specializing in, which ones we're learning more of. So I'm currently learning more about like, one of the more recent ones I went over is like belt drives and gear drives and like how to tell how much torque output there's going to be. I also am going to be working on it has a small section on like business presentations because I want to learn how to talk to a group and how to explain something to a group more easily.
Great.
But I'm also choosing to do AutoCAD, which is a modeling software, and we're currently following Chemeketa's Drafting 130 course. So I get to do that every other week. I go through the lessons and follow those out.
Wow, that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is just, it sounds like such a fun day. Is this like part of your, like every day you go, so is this like, 3 of your periods or?
So WCA is a little different. So here at Jefferson, we have periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where you have like science, language arts, that sort of thing. WCA technically has 3 periods, but it's all kind of condensed into one large block. So for roughly 3 hours, I'm doing these lessons. We take a break roughly around 1:30 in my group. Some classes take breaks earlier, some don't really seem to at all. So it's not like dedicated periods of, I'm going to spend half an hour on AutoCAD and half an hour welding.
Okay. So it's all kind of together, but you're working on a project maybe, or?
So currently I'm just going over the basics of things.
Okay.
I am using those for personal projects, making things, but later on we're going to have projects and we're going to be able to make our own if we choose to.
That sounds really amazing. So both of you, what do you get at the end of this? Is there a certificate? And what can you do with this? How is the after you graduate from high school, do you leave with a skill set that you can take into industry, or?
So with manufacturing, like last year I got OSHA 10 certified, so I have certification for OSHA in construction.
Wow.
So I already have that, but then later this year I can get my welding certification for the different variations on welding. And we're also working with industry partners, and one that I'm going to get in contact with is West Salem Manufacturing. So that way I can get my foot in the door for CAD design, because all they use there is AutoCAD. So.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like you can kind of go into multiple different fields.
Yeah.
You'll have like a broad skill set that you can say, yeah, I can do welding.
Yeah, well, like last year we had a senior, even though it was our first year doing manufacturing, and he's leaving and he's starting out as an electrician.
Oh,
And then he planned on doing shoe design.
wow, really?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's definitely like getting your foot in the door right when
Well,
you
shoe
graduate,
design,
which is
absolutely.
really great. Yeah. I know. I've been thinking about that line and that just fit right in.
Nice try.
If the shoe fits.
Yeah. Wear it, absolutely. Extended metaphor. So, Dulce, what about yourself? What's the next step after with this? After year 2, have they talked about yet, like what that can mean? Do you come out with a certificate? And
His goals, well, our teacher's goals are to basically have us be in a program that we are enjoying, and he's basically wanting to, I don't know how to explain this very well. He's wanting to get for us to explore and to find a job that is really suiting us.
yeah,
So
yeah. So right now you're kind of in the exploration of things. You're kind of like finding out what the different possibilities are, and you're not quite to that, connection with industry, whereas you're starting to thinking about the skills that you've got, and Campbell, you're starting to look at what that next step might be in year 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it sounds really engaging.
Yeah.
It's going to be so helpful, I think, when you guys graduate. So I applaud you for taking this step and applying for this program. I think it's going to be really great for you guys in the long run.
Yeah, and there's so many certifications in the IT industry that there's all sorts of things from. There's A+ certification, which is usually when you're doing like support for computers and stuff like that. They have network certifications. There's certifications that you can get for things like Adobe and doing media work and stuff like that. So there's lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. And I would imagine pretty, good careers too with,
Yes.
well-paying jobs and with a great connection. I'm just going to say this again, I really love the fact that school can provide really engaging, practical curriculum for students so that they can start to see a future.
Yeah.
And but a future that's really bright and where they come out with these great skill sets. I'm just amazed by what you guys said today, because it got me all excited. I want to go back to school and start doing some stuff.
Well, and with there being an IT track, that gives opportunities for us to probably provide internships here at the school, so that
I
they
like
can
that idea.
apply that knowledge and use it here.
Also, he's our tech director, right? Yeah,
That's right.
so he knows a few things. So you definitely could ask him if you have questions for sure.
And there's always work to be done.
That's an understatement.
Yes, and that's our little plug for education, right? There's also a lot of these skill sets that you guys are in. There's also needs in education for folks to come in and be an IT director and help out our schools, so keep that in mind as well. Yeah. All right. Well, I think our time is about up. So I want to thank Dulce Campbell and Ms. Pierce Cummings for being with us today and sharing a little bit about your experience with the Willamette Carrer Academy. I think that is just an amazing experience. I really am happy to hear that you're enjoying it. Before we started today, they were talking about how they really love the teachers there and the program, and their faces just kind of lit up when they talked about working with these teachers. And so you can't say enough how great that program is, and our hats off to Willamette Carrer Academy and the leadership there for putting on a great program. All right, well, thank you so much once again. We'll be signing off and see you next week.
See you next time.
All right, bye.